Hi, and welcome to the weekly market update here at Morton Brown Family Wealth. This is the week of November 16th, finally 1 week away from Thanksgiving. I'm Cody Demmel, and I'm joined here with Katie Brown. How are you doing, Katie?
Hi, Cody. Great. How are you?
Good, good. How about the snow flurries this morning?
Oh my gosh, it was freezing. And it's funny because I am adamant about walking to the bus stop with my kids, and so I'm like, all right, bundle up. We're walking down. I'm not driving. Standing outside, they're like,
Yeah, I can only imagine what the wind chill was this morning. But yeah, so we've had a nice rally here in November so far in the stock market. So we wanted to go over a couple articles that we thought were interesting this week. So a couple of them. The first one, we'll go over some of the recent flow trends that we've been seeing in ETFs. And then the second article, we want to go over some of the recent price targets that were updated by some of the major investment banks for 2021. And then we want to go over some of the comments made this week by the Fed Chairman Powell. So, Katie, on the first article, did you have any thoughts or what stood out to you the most in some of the trends?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week, but I think it was interesting to see the significant outflows and inflows. So things really flowing into small cap stocks and back into SPY, the broad S&P 500, and away from the money flowing out of, we call it triple Qs, but the NASDAQ technology sector. Just the significant movement, and that's where we saw the returns too. So on November 9th, the technology index, the NASDAQ, was actually like pretty much flat for the day, where we saw spikes, huge spikes in just the broad markets and in small caps and international. And the investors followed that.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. In the article that we were looking at, the largest ETF that was sold was the Qs, and the largest increase was the small cap index. So it's definitely an interesting trend that's going on currently.
Yeah, like I said, the investor behavior around it is interesting too, because we always talk about that following something's trending high, so I'm going to buy into it, and technology is not doing as well, so I'm going to sell out of it. And we saw a lot of the buy high and the sell low happening.
Yeah, and that's also interesting to go over some of the price targets that were updated from the ones that I was looking at were from Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley that they updated this week for 2021. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, so Goldman Sachs came out and they are predicting right now that by the end of 2021, we'll see a 19%, almost 20% increase in the S&P 500, followed by another increase in 2022, somewhere around the 7% mark is what they're predicting right now, which is obviously aggressive and considerably higher than a lot of other analysts are pointing at right now or are considering. I always take those things a little bit of a grain of salt, though, because there are always a number of wide predictions of what could happen. But there are a lot of things lining up that might suggest that we could have a nice rally, especially when people start to see light at the end of the tunnel, and there's a lot of pent up energy that people, they want to travel again. They want to get out. They want to spend money in other ways, which would be a huge boost to the economy.
Yeah, I definitely think it's important to take those with a grain of salt, because it seems like they're updating them every couple of months, depending on which way the market's going. But it is encouraging to see them have such an optimistic view for 2021. And I thought they put out a GDP estimate, and they had it over 5% for next year, which is good to see too. So hopefully we actually get close to that.
Yeah, I think that'll be nice to see those numbers go up again. To see more of that production and to see a broader range of the economy being supported. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm sure many businesses are really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. And it is important to point out that while they have that optimistic view for the future, that they did say, both Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley said to expect maybe a 5 to 10% pullback sometime within the next couple of months with everything going on. That wouldn't be abnormal to have a pullback like that.
Right. One of the other things that they cited in there too is, if we do land with a divided government, which we're trending towards, we'll see exactly what happens. But if we do land with a divided government, and we've mentioned this before, that typically is a positive for market performance, because they'd like to know that there are not going to be significant changes to, legislation in any one direction or another. If hands are kind of tied, then the markets are free to take off running. So we'll see. And I think they mentioned in there too that on average, when you have a divided government, the S&P returns have been 10%. So typically that divided government is a positive for markets. Even with that, though, if we do end up with a divided government, hopefully everybody can get on the same page for a stimulus package. I know that's been kicked around quite a bit, and it looks as if we're heading back toward more restrictions, and that's going to put more stress on companies and more stress on individuals. So really looking forward to seeing what type of government action will take place to help support the economy. There's, that governmental piece, but then one of the other articles that we wanted to cover in the Wall Street Journal today was Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. He's acknowledging, yes, this is great news about a potential vaccine, but that's really good news in the midterm, not so much the short term. We still have a ways to go, and he's making it very clear that the Fed will continue to do everything they need to do to help keep the economy supported, with the tools that they have. I really appreciate how transparent I think the Federal Reserve has been throughout all of this, and how much they really are trying to work with the government to be supportive in different ways. But was there anything else that caught your eye in there?
No, I just thought it was really important how he said over and over and over that they're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that the economy stays strong and hopefully keeps rebounding from the lows that we had. One thing that I think was important to point out is he did say he was a little concerned about the jobs growth slowdown that we've had in October. And I mean, it seems like that again in November. So hopefully we can get a stimulus package and start spurring some more job growth going forward.
Right. Those are some of the major highlights that we wanted to touch on from this week. And we are looking forward going into Thanksgiving week next week, which typically tends to be a little bit quieter. And we'll see, how things go. It'll be a different holiday this year from other holidays. I know there are a lot of restrictions on travel, and unfortunately probably won't be getting together with family around the table as much, but hopefully everybody will have a chance to connect virtually and still share all the things that they're grateful for. I know we're looking forward to that. Do you have any Thanksgiving traditions in your family?
Yeah, normally we go to my dad's side of the family in Hershey, and normally it's like 20 to 30 people. So unfortunately, that won't be happening this year. I'm honestly not sure what the plans are. If we're going to be trying to Zoom with everybody, or I know I'll be going over. Courtney and I will be going over to my parents at least. How about you?
We're staying local. I'm debating whether or not I want to bring alive a little tradition. My mom used to, I'm one of 4 kids, and my mom used to make the traditional Thanksgiving dinner, but then she would go around to each of us and ask us one item on the table that we wanted as like our favorite meal. And so inevitably we'd have like a plate of nachos and like a half sitting around the table in addition to everything else. Yeah. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for tuning in this week. If you have any questions or if you have any topics that you would like us to cover, we always welcome that. And we wish you all the best, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Yeah, bye.